Die? That's a little extreme. I know, totally is. But I know this super special person, and they have been working so hard for so long. They have all these amazing gifts. They fill their car with gas, they pay their taxes. Their heart breaks when they see someone in need, and so they donate their hard-earned money to causes like Make-A-Wish. They want to help as many people out as they can, and so sometimes they end up putting themselves last. This person is here with us, living and walking through the world, but parts of their spirit have been muted. Parts of their body and spirit are dying. If I could tell this person one thing, I would tell them that they are worthy of love, of rest, of joy, the really good stuff of life. I would make sure they know they have the power to choose joy, to feel alive, to feel the full expanse of who they are. Want to know who that person is? It's you. We get so busy doing in the everyday and on the hamster wheel that sometimes the enjoying part of life gets lost. Does that resonate with anybody? We were 2 months into being parents and we were ready for a date night. We booked the babysitter, we made the reservation, and when the big night came, I walked into my closet and I thought, what does a new mom wear to date night? So I was looking through and I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna have to go shopping. All of a sudden, all my clothes were daring and loud. Moms don't wear those things. So I picked the best mom dress I could find, and I squeezed myself into some Spanx, and I put the dress on and off we went. We went to this fancy restaurant and we were eating juicy steaks. I mean, let's get serious. Any restaurant where someone is serving me, fancy. And we didn't want the night to end, and so on the way home, we stopped off at this little cutie cafe and we walked in and they had triple layered chocolate cake. Done. We were sharing our cake, but then we were getting to the point in the date night where there isn't as much to talk about. So you're kind of like gazing at the wall. Walls are so interesting. And my husband looks at me and he says, when was the last time you felt joy? And I immediately spit out, I love you, I love our dogs, I love our girl, blah, 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 blah. And he interrupted me, he said, no, joy, effervescent joy. I knew the answer, but I didn't want to say it out loud. I said, 2 years ago. I mean, I'm sitting there with a man I love in a marriage I love with a healthy baby girl. Someone is putting her to sleep. I have chocolate cake in front of me, and the best I could come up with was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was with my brothers, and we were at a Jay-Z concert, actually right down the street here at ACL Live. We were jumping up and down, we were losing our minds, and I just remember feeling so excited. In those 2 years, I had quit a job I loved, put my career on hold. I had gotten married, gotten pregnant, the baby had health scares, had a baby, moved houses 3 times. Had I been joyful in the last 2 years? Sure. I'm sorry, no, that's a lie. Had I been happy in the last 2 years? Sure. Had I been joyful? I don't think that I had. And then my husband said, hey, you know you can have that feeling often, right? No, I can't. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I've got taxes to pay, dogs to bathe, I've got things to do. I don't have time for joy. Joy is silly, selfish, I'm too busy for that stuff. And as my brain was giving me a list, a bazillion reasons long to deny myself joy, when my husband said those words to me, I realized part of my spirit had been dying, and I wanted to bring myself back to life. I wanted to bring myself back to this. For me, that started with my mental health. Back then, chocolate cake date night, I was in the middle of postpartum depression and I didn't know it. A few weeks into becoming a mom, we had family come over and someone asked, "Oh my God, don't you just love her so much?" And I said, "Love her? I don't even know her." I was doing all the dutiful things. I was nursing her, caring for her, but I was detached from her. And later I realized disconnected from my life. Mental illness manifests differently for everybody, and for me, it's a combination of depression and anxiety. Super fun. In fact, I'm dealing with postpartum depression for the second time right now. I took my Zoloft this morning and I went to see my therapist last week. Some of us come from cultures that tell us that mental health, not real, woo-woo, fairy, weirdos. Some of us come from cultures that tell us that if we need help, we're weak or messed up in the head. And some of us come from cultures that tell us that prescription medication is evil. What to do, right? We would rather stay in the dark, devoid of joy, than to reach out and ask for help for fear of how we will be labeled and how people will perceive us. 1 in 5 Americans deals with a mental health issue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 million Americans deal with serious mental health issues. African Americans and Hispanics, that's me, sought help at half the rate as whites did. What is up with that? In my work, I often ask, if embarrassment and expectations did not exist, how often would you ask for help? And the response is, always. Well, embarrassment and expectations are made up. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. Asking for help is a sign of humanity. There is no shame in asking for help. There's honor in it, honor in being self-aware. So once I realized that, I threw embarrassment and expectations out the window. I started asking for help, and I could see joy, even in a pair of jeans. So I'm this new mom, and I'm getting my groove back, and I decided to take myself shopping, but online, because let's get serious. So I cozied up in bed, and I Googled jeans for moms. I deserve mom jeans for that, I know. But I did, I 100%. And I saw these jeans, and I immediately smiled. They were fun and colorful, and dare I say, joyful. But then this little voice started creeping up, and she said, "Girl, you cannot wear those jeans. You are a 34-year-old mom of 2. Who do you think you are? You're trying too hard." And I thought, hello, excuse me, and how long have you been with me? And how long have I been giving you power? And I sat with those questions for weeks. And then the answer came to me. I had been carrying that voice with me since the days of the ballet academy. I started dancing when I was 3. Ballet, tap, jazz, square dance, equal opportunity dancer. Sequins, makeup, performance, sign me up. And I danced year after year, and in junior high, the cream really started to rise to the top, and yours truly was not exactly rising. But I was having fun, and so I continued, and one day in class, our instructor said, "All right, girls, time for jetés." I said, "All right," and so we lined up in a corner of the classroom, and a jeté is where you flitter, 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 split, and you land, and then you go off, and your legs and your arms make perfect split in the air, and everyone's so graceful, and then off you go. Gazelle-like. So here we go. Flitter, split. Flitter, 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 split. My turn. Flitter, flitter, flitter. And instead of my legs making a perfect, beautiful split, more like 2 sides of a triangle, like there were weights on my ankles. And I landed, and I looked at the instructor, and she said, "Well, your boobs are too big and you're too dark to be a ballerina anyway." Okay. A few years later, I quit dancing. People who love us, people who don't love us, culture, they define the world for us when we're young. Do this, don't do that, this is good, this is not good, this is who you will be, and don't you even think about trying to be this. And they give us their definitions and expectations, and what ends up happening is they box us in, right? But then we start growing and tuning into our own voice, and we think, golly, this is tight in here, because we were never meant to be confined. We were meant to feel alive and expansive. But we end up staying in the box because we're afraid of confrontation. We're afraid of letting people down. Maybe we're just afraid to see what's on the other side. And what begins to happen is we begin to make these choices that go along to get along, and we start suppressing who we really are, and then the joy begins to fade. Why can't we have our cake and eat it too? Maybe this talk should be called cake, because I've already talked about cake twice. So, there has to be a better way, right? We can choose and. You guys heard of Jessica Honegger? She founded, someone say woohoo? All right. Oh, good, I'm an ambassador. So, Jessica Honegger, she founded Noonday Collection right here in Austin. This is a socially conscious fashion brand. And she introduced me to this idea of choosing and. What can feel like contradictions may merely be tensions to hold. We can be scared and brave, love hiking and love fashion, be a white mom and have a black son. We can do a lot of things at the same time. Oh, so freeing. I didn't have to be this or that. I could be this and that. And so can you. You can have parts of your box, and you can also explore the things that you're curious about. So, I signed up for dance class. My fellow dancers are right here. Woo! I bought the jeans, and I stopped boxing myself in. So, my mental health is good. I'm choosing and then I was ready to take it to the next level. I was ready to feel the vibrations. We're keeping it weird right now, so let's just go with it. Albert Einstein said that everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. Everything is vibrating. The chairs you're sitting in, the windows behind you, your body, your emotions, and so many things contribute to our vibrations. The food we eat, the people we surround ourselves with, our thoughts, the medications we put into our bodies. And in regard to bodies and emotions, the higher the vibration, the better. So when we're driving down the highway and someone cuts us off and we want to give them the one finger salute, that is lowering our vibration. Or when we're replaying the fight we had with our coworker over and over in our heads, that's also lowering our vibration. So when we're ready to raise our vibrations, we can do it in a ton of ways. We can do it by praying or meditating, because when we're in a space of prayer, we're in a space of love. We can do it by laughing. Every time you've chuckled today, you have raised your vibration. We can do it by dancing. Full circle on the dancing, right? We can do it by eating fresh foods. We can walk over to Trader Joe's, get some sliced pineapple, done. You've already raised your vibrations. If we are not intentionally choosing joy, if we are not intentionally making these decisions to fill our lives with joy, we are literally dying. After all of this, I know a lot of you are thinking, sounds nice, choose joy, blah, blah. Choosing joy is not that hard when things are okay. But what about when things are not okay? What about when times are tough? Someone's in the hospital or someone passes away. What about it then? I hear you. On Sunday, I lost one of my greatest loves, Bo Jackson. After 14 years together, I held his paws in my hand, and under the warmth of the sun and the shade of an oak tree, he took his last breath. I have spent the last few days grieving, missing him, crying in public places, sorry if you've seen me, and trying to think of ways to continue to honor his spirit. In the morning after he passed, a thought popped into my head and I realized, I have the tools for this. I can guide myself through this. So I tried to keep eating fresh foods. I watched Jerry Seinfeld on Netflix. I called my girlfriend. I took a dance class even though I felt like a cement brick. And none of those things felt great in the moment, but I think without them, I really would have spiraled downward and maybe would not have had the wherewithal to be here with you today. Sometimes joy is gonna fall in our laps, and sometimes we're going to have to fight for it. Choosing joy will require you to answer the questions, who am I and what do I want? Choosing joy will require you to take action. The work is real, but if you choose joy, your reward will be feeling alive, the full expanse of who you are. This, right now, is your invitation to find joy more places, not to exclude possibilities, but to include them. Choose joy, fight for it. That's how we change the world.